told Hook. The hallway light has been on since Tuesday. Not flickering on, steady and yellow, the way a held breath is steady. The carpet underneath it is dry. The bulb is cold to the touch. Somewhere in the building, a door that no one remembers closing is, apparently, closed. Someone left a glass of water on the floor outside apartment 4C. And the funny thing, if you want to call it that, is that it's still full. Story 1. The house had been on the market for 11 months before Carrie lowered her expectations enough to sign the lease. It wasn't bad, exactly, older, the kind of old that settles into itself, floorboards groaning through sequences that sounded almost like footsteps if you were tired enough, if you'd worked enough doubles, if you'd stopped sleeping through the night the way she had since the divorce. She told herself it was the adjustment. New place, new sounds. She told herself that for about 3 weeks. The kitchen was where she first noticed it. She kept finding the lower cabinet, the one under the sink, open, not wide, just ajar, the way you'd leave it if your hands were full and you nudged it shut with your knee and almost made it. She started closing it deliberately, checking it before bed. She'd press it with both palms until the magnetic latch clicked. She could feel the click through her fingertips. It would be open again by morning. She checked for warping, for swollen wood, for anything mechanical. She got down on her knees with a flashlight and looked at the hinges for a long time. Everything was fine. Everything was level. She closed it again and sat at the kitchen table and drank her coffee and watched it. It stayed closed while she watched. She started leaving the kitchen light on. Then the living room light. Sleep got worse. The sequences in the floorboards became specific. A short pause, then 3, then nothing, then 3 again. She called her sister, who said it sounded like the pipes, and her sister was almost certainly right. One morning she found the cabinet open and inside it, sitting neatly between the drain pipe and a bottle of cleaning fluid, a small glass of water. She didn't own any glasses that size. She stood in the kitchen for a long time in the gray early light, and she did not call anyone, and she did not look behind her, and eventually she poured her coffee down the drain and went to work and spent the whole shift being very, very careful not to think about what she was going to do when she got home. She still lives there. She mentioned the cabinet to me once at a party, the way you mention a leaky faucet. She smiled when she said it. She said she'd gotten used to it. I didn't ask what she meant by it. Transition. Outside, the temperature drops 2 degrees, the kind of drop you feel in your back teeth. A bus passes somewhere on a street that is slightly too far away to explain the headlights that move across the ceiling. A radiator somewhere begins its nightly work, knocking steadily, then less steadily, then not at all. Story 2. The hotel had 217 rooms, and Daniel had worked nights at the front desk for going on 4 years. He knew the building the way you know a body, where it ached, what noises it made when the weather shifted, which corridors hummed under the fluorescence, and which ones didn't. He was not an imaginative person. His colleagues considered this a professional asset. Floor 7 had been decommissioned for renovation in January. The elevator still stopped there if you pressed the button, which guests sometimes did by accident, but the doors opened onto a dark corridor sealed at the far end with plastic sheeting, and nothing was in there except exposed drywall and a foreman's tape measure someone had left on the window ledge. He'd been up there twice to redirect confused guests. He knew exactly what it looked like. At 3:40 on a Tuesday in March, the in-house phone at the front desk rang. The display read 714. He answered it the way he always did. Professional, level. The line was open. He could hear the specific acoustic of an interior room, that close, carpeted silence, but no one spoke. He waited. Said the greeting again. Waited. Hung up. Room 714 had not been assigned. Floor 7 had no active rooms. He logged it as a system error. Faulty relay, crossed line, something in the switchboard. The hotel was old. These things happened. He wrote it in the incident log in his even, unhurried handwriting and went back to the audit he'd been running. At 4:15 it rang again. 714. He answered, same acoustic, same silence, but this time, before he could hang up, he heard, and he was careful about this word when he told me. He said he was very careful. He heard what sounded like someone setting something down. A soft placement, an object on a hard surface. Careful and deliberate, the way you'd set down a full glass of water. He documented it. He did not go upstairs. He has said more than once that not going upstairs was the correct professional decision, and I think he's right. And I also think he knew something that made not going upstairs feel less like protocol and more like the only possible thing. He transferred to the day shift 6 weeks later. Said he needed the hours for family reasons. Nobody pushed back. The incident log entry for that Tuesday is standard and brief. Faulty relay. No follow-up required. The tape measure is still on the window ledge on floor 7. I know because I checked. I'm not sure why I checked. I'm not sure why I went at 3 in the afternoon and stood in that corridor and looked at it and felt very clearly that the room had a quality of recent occupancy, not dust, not cold, but something. The particular atmospheric pressure of a space that someone has just left. I took the stairs back down. Transition. Rain begins. Not heavy, the kind that seems to have been falling for hours before you notice it. A streetlight catches it at an angle that makes the window of any building look briefly inhabited. The sound of it on a flat roof is very close to the sound of careful, deliberate footsteps in a room above you. Story 3. Marcus worked the overnight at a commercial laundry facility on the east side of the city. Industrial machines the size of shipping containers, running loads that arrived on carts from hotels and hospitals and restaurants. He'd done it for 6 years, and the noise had become interior to him, the way the ocean becomes interior to people who live near it. He thought of it as company. He was not wrong to think of it that way at first. The machines ran on a timed cycle. You loaded, you set the sequence, you moved to the next unit. Between loads, there was a system log on a mounted tablet that tracked time, temperature, drum weight, water volume. He checked it twice per shift. It was routine and exact, and he was good at it. In November, he noticed an entry in the log he didn't recognize. Not an error flag, a normal entry, time-stamped 3:07 a.m. for Unit 4. A standard warm cycle, 42 minutes, 68 kilograms of load weight. He had not started a cycle on Unit 4 at 3:07. He'd been on break. He went back to his log sheet and confirmed it. Unit 4 had been empty at 3:07. He'd checked it at 2:55 and it was clear. He reported it as a system anomaly. Maintenance ran a diagnostic and found nothing. Ghost cycle, they called it. Told him the sensor calibration could log a cycle that hadn't run. It happened sometimes with the older units. He accepted this. The next week, another ghost cycle on Unit 4, then Unit 6, then on a Thursday that he has described as extremely ordinary. Up until that point, he walked past Unit 4 at 3:12 a.m. and felt it, warmth, through the door. Not residual industrial heat, he knew what that felt like. This was the specific warmth of a cycle that had just completed. The drum was still. The seal light was off. The log showed nothing. He pressed his palm flat against the door and held it there and counted, the way his father had taught him to check a car engine, and when he opened the door, the interior was warm and faintly damp, and smelled the way clean laundry smells, neutral and processed and absent of anything biological. But on the inner drum, in the way the moisture had distributed and not quite dried, there was a pattern. He is not sure it was a pattern. He has said both things. He stood there with the loading door open and the facility noise all around him, regular and indifferent, and he looked at it for a long time. He didn't photograph it. He told me this without embarrassment. He said the decision was immediate and he has never reversed it. He closed the door and finished the shift and handed off to the morning crew without noting anything in the log. He still works nights. He said the ghost cycles stopped after that. He said Unit 4 runs quieter than the others now. He said he isn't sure those two things are connected, and I noticed he didn't say they weren't. Outro. 3 buildings, 3 ordinary nights, 1 log entry no one filed. The hallway light is still on, not flickering, just on, steady and yellow, exactly the way it was before anyone moved in. Title Options J Season: 3 disturbing domestic horror stories that will ruin your sleep. Vertical bar, true horror narration. 3 scary true stories from ordinary buildings. Vertical bar, don't watch this alone at night. 3 deeply unsettling night shift and home horror stories. Vertical bar. DreadFlix, true horror compilation.